Hey everyone, welcome back and welcome to our signature segment, See the Stories. Now, before we jump into our discussion today, I want to ask my friend and fellow host right here, Maria.
Yes.
How about youth activities, right?
Yes.
What was your most memorable ones that you, maybe one or two that you might have?
Yeah, I'm very passionate about social activities. I built my own social movement called Bangun Sekolah in 2018. And we have collaborated with 3 schools up until now.
Wow.
In Pandeglang, in Bogor, and also in Tangerang.
Okay.
Yeah, everything going well.
Yeah.
But after I become a mother, I haven't had more collaboration.
Yeah.
So we just monitor our progress.
Okay.
And
but it's still going.
Yeah, it's
just
still
not
going.
As
but
hands-on. Probably.
Yeah, not as hands-on. The most memorable will be every time the kids' skills can be enriched by some trainings that we give to them. It's very life-changing because we collaborate with a university, Sampurna University, and they give like a computer trainings and also like a psychological consultation for them. And I'm really grateful to see their skills and also their confidence boosted up after the trainings has ended.
All right, cool. Yeah. Now, we're still going to talk about something, very, very close to what Maria has been doing now. Yeah. Because our guest for today, she's going to share her inspirational experience and knowledge as a change maker to her surroundings. Now, without further ado, let's say hello to education activist Aras Kususma. Ara, welcome to the studio.
Hi, Ara. Thank you for having me.
for
coming here.
And it's really great to hear about Bangun Sekolah as well.
Thank you.
Wonderful initiative.
We have to learn about each other's social activities.
For sure, as education activists.
Yes.
Totally relate to that.
Yeah.
Now, Ara, we want to jump in. Yeah, Maria, can I take the first stab at Ara?
Yep.
Because we were talking just off camera before we started here. So, Ara, can you tell us a little bit more about the very first, we want to say project that you actually took on when you were only 10 years old, guys. She was only 10 years old. Can you tell us a little bit more about that, the kind of project? And I believe it was about improving the welfare of cattle farmers in Salatiga. Can you tell us more about that and how everything got going?
So I began my journey as a change maker at the age of 10.
Wow.
And I did not expect that before. I didn't even know the word change maker before. But what I knew is that when I was a kid, so I was born in a small town called Salatiga. It's on the foot of a Merbabu mountain. Very quiet, peaceful, and also very fresh. And as a kid, I really like to drink milk, as do most of us.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
I do too.
You do too, right? To drink milk. Milk is everything.
Yeah.
And I started to also develop my interest in cows as well. So my family and I, we visited a lot of farms around Salatiga, in Boyolali, in Solo as well. And we visited the villages as well in Boyolali, which is very well known for producing milk and their cows as well. And there, as a kid, I asked a lot of questions like, what is cow? Or like, how can we manage the cows, or like what does the cow eat and everything, and so on and so forth, until I realized that there are differences in the way that people manage their cows, both in the private farms and also in the villages. Like for example, in the private farms, they manage the cows really integratedly. They have about like 1,000 to 2,000 cows in their farms, and they process from the cow's milk until the cow's dung as well. Whereas in the villages, the one that I visited was in Sukorejo, a village in Boyolali, and typically one family owns 3 to 5 cows.
I see.
So imagine if there are 500 families in that village. There are also about like 1,500 cows there, which is the same amount of cows with the private farms. But the differences was that in the villages, they manage the cows individually, and they didn't process the resources that the cows have. So basically, they harvested the milk and then sold it as it is without any value added. And there I asked another question, which is what if? To see the possibilities. So not only 5W1H, but another question, which is like what if questions. Like what if I start with something very imaginative, like what if a cow can fly?
Wow.
What if? And then like what if we manage the cows in the villages like the ones in the private farms, like integrated, professional, and also value added. So then that's the beginning of Moose project with the what if questions. and also the support from my family, we then tried to talk to the villagers and also the private farms as well to share their knowledge. So we created a learning session for the farms to gather, to connect, to learn from each other as well.
Yeah.
And also we invited the farmers' wives and their farmers' children as well. So the wives will be the one who process the milk into pudding, into yogurt, winkle, and other kind of like products, like
really
processed
creative.
product. And also with the children, we also learned about recycling. We learned about the benefits of milk and also cows as well. So it becomes not only about cows, but also about education, about integrated farmings, and also about the togetherness and teamwork within the families itself.
Wow, I love the idea of integrating such a food security programs. And just simple question, are the cows grass-fed or grain-fed?
Well, it's mixed, but mostly are grass-fed.
I see,
Yeah.
so that's healthier.
Yes.
And what made you so inspired to do this movement since a young age?
To be honest, I was actually a pretty shy kid. And then, well, I asked a lot of questions, but I was pretty shy. And I always compared myself to other kids as well, especially to my sister. And I felt like, I always have something that is lacking. Until one day, my mother and I had a conversations because I was feeling down about comparing myself to other people. And then my mom said that everyone has the power that they can contribute and they can bring to other people. And for example, you can look at your smile. She said something like that, like your smile is contagious.
Yeah.
And just by smiling, you can change other people's day into a much brighter day.
Yeah.
And I was like, it was the moment when I had an aha moment that, so I can do something for other people as well, as simple as smile. So when I saw the examples of cows, I felt like I can do something about it as well, as simple as connecting people. So I knocked the door and I say, sir, do you want to share your knowledge to the other farmers here? And he said yes. So it's like, and then I knocked the door to the farmers in the village, just like, do you want to gather and then listen to the experts? And you can also share your experiences here in the villages. And it becomes like a sharing. It was not like me as a kid because, farming is a pretty masculine industry.
Agriculture is a pretty masculine thing.
Yeah, most of the farmers are men. And as a little girl, they were like, what is
but
this
women
going?
can do things too.
True. Like, what is this kid doing? Here, you just need to go to school. You don't need to tell us what to do. You don't even own a cow. Like, what can you do about the cows? So instead of me being upfront talking to the farmers, I was more kind of like the connecting the dots person. So it was kind of like I believe that there are experts out there, even though I was a kid, but I can knock the door at least and ask for, a request or like help for the experts, and also ask the help for the leaders as well in the villages to then gather and then connecting people.
It's doing a lot of partnership.
Exactly.
That's
really
great.
good.
Yeah.
Somebody who's really shy, introvert.
Awesome.
Introvert, I always have my me time after the meeting with people.
Right. So I'm sure because when you did this when you were 10, and that again you said that you're not trying to be the leader or you're not trying to be the one who's initiating everything, but instead you're trying to get everybody together so that everybody can be in the same place, everybody can discuss, and everybody can come up with a solution or two. And did you? I'm sure you did. Can you tell us more the outcome of that? Activities that you were doing, the project, the MOO project.
Right.
You got some outcomes already from
Yes.
Yes, please.
So we basically tried to manage the cows around the 6 goals. So it's a term that I learned from Lembah Hijau Multi Farm in Solo, the experts that I invited to share to the village as well. That actually cows, if you just look at cows, people may take it for granted, but if you terms it as gold, people start paying attention to that.
Okay.
So the 6 gold starts with the white gold, which is the milk. So we process the milk into pudding, into the other processed product as well, as mentioned before. And then the second one is the red gold. This one we didn't process because most of the milks are the dairy milk. most of the cows are the dairy cows who produce the milk but not the meat. So we didn't process the meat, which is the red gold. The third gold is the black gold, which is the dung.
Yeah.
So previously the dung was just being thrown away to the fields, but now we process it into compost, which is more less smelly and also more effective to grow the crops in the fields.
Right.
And then the fourth one is the yellow gold, which is the liquid dung. Like the dung, there's the solid one, there's the liquid. This is the liquid one, which is the yellow gold.
Yeah.
And the fifth gold is the green gold, which is greeneration. And we also had the, what do you call it, like the eco-tourism in the village. So we invited people to come to the village, living in there, trying to harvest the cows.
Like a live-in program.
Live-in programs for people to come to the village as well. And also training programs. So trainings which used to be done in fancy hotels, now being done in the homestays around the village as well. So the green one is ecotourism. And the last one, we didn't also do this, is the biogas, which is a blue gold biogas. Yeah.
I see, and
this is really, really...
Yeah, really interesting. I have a lot of questions, and I see a lot of your programs are very beneficial for the communities. And after all that you've done, I saw that one of your highlights is in 2008, you got selected by Ashoka, the social entrepreneurship organization, to be selected as one of the young change maker there. So you are put in the category of young change makers. So tell us the process of how did you get selected, and how Ashoka has helped you in your movement.
Right. So how I got selected was that I applied for the programs. Actually, I was below their age requirements. It was 12 until 25 years old, but I was not 11, like not even 11 at the time.
Wow.
And then
going to 11.
Going to the 11. But then I was like, let's just apply for this. Let's do it. This is a great community. I want to be part of it, and let's apply for that. And they're very helpful and very open-minded to welcome me at such a young age. And with my project as well, that is still in the early stage. So that's, and there, I undergo several interviews as well with the Ashoka Foundation. And finally, I got selected into the program called the Ashoka Young Changemakers. And one of the benefits that I got was the sense of family and community as well, the belongingness in the community itself, because I felt pretty lonely at the time. Like no one at my age actually does like those kind of projects, especially in Salatiga. It's a small town, but I felt like I was being weird alone, you know? Like I was a weird kid there.
It's okay to be different.
Sure, cool. It's okay to be different though. But sometimes it feels lonely, just being different alone. So in Ashoka, I felt other like amazing change makers out there who have the same visions, who really appreciate what I'm doing as well, who gets what I'm doing. Sometimes people don't get what I'm doing. So it's like, what are you doing at such a young age, you know, going to the farms and everything? You know, it's considered as weird and not kind of like normal, I guess. So in Ashoka, I felt normal. I felt like, oh, I found my community, I found my pact here. And I'm currently also supporting Ashoka to find other Ashoka Young Changemakers out there, because we believe that everyone is a change maker, no matter how old you are, no matter where's your background, no matter what is your concern, whether it is in the health sector, in the agriculture,
can be anything.
Education. It can be anything, but you can actually contribute something to your community out there.
As long as you put the heart into it.
Actually, applying your empathy into action. And that's where the Ashoka Young Changemakers come from.
And you're still a part of it, right? And
I'm still a part of it right now.
Trying to identify more guys with that same kind of talent as you. To be able to be part of this kind of community. Now, I want to move forward a little bit up to about 2020, you know, the year of 2020, the year of COVID-19 pandemic, where again, we know that you started a project, it's called AHA Project, where you're, this is an education kind of project, right? Where you're trying to help kids to learn long distance learning. Is that something that you're still currently doing, and how's that going? Can you tell us more about that one?
Right. So there is a proverb: once a change maker, forever a change maker.
Yeah.
Once you start it, it will never stop.
Yeah.
Like every time you see
It stays in you.
it stays in you. Every time you see an issue, you just have like there's a tickle in your body. Let's have to do something about this.
Right.
And during the pandemic, in the early days, I think it was in February or March 2020, during the lockdown, I was actually in my house and I was pretty bored at the time, so I looked outside to the window a lot. And there I saw a bunch of children roaming around the street without mask on and during school hours. And they're, again, asking questions. Why? Why are they there? Like, why shouldn't be there? Like, shouldn't they be at home or like, you know, following the protocols and also doing online classes? And that was my aha moment. I previously thought that pandemic is such a big and global issue, and I was pretty overwhelmed by it. I didn't know what to do about it. And then I switched it into thinking locally first. So thinking locally into what is actually happening around me and what do they need. So then I started to see that, and I think education is something that I can contribute towards, especially for these kids who are struggling to do the distance learning at the time. And I figured out that actually millions of children in Indonesia do not have access to internet and also the gadget itself.
That's what I see.
And when they do not have these two infrastructures, there's the third piece that is making this even worse, which is they do not have the support from their parents to do the learning at home. So I then gathered some of my friends and started to, you know, discuss about this issue. What do you think about this? And also invited teachers as well to have conversations with them. And we decided to do at least two things: solving the what and solving the how. What can they learn? So we created worksheets and learning modules that incorporated the environment and everyday lives that they can find around their houses into the learning curriculum. So for example, when we learn about math, what can we learn about math? Oh, maybe we can learn from making cookies or going to the market, and you know, there is the purchasing things and how much is the change, how much is this cost and everything. It's math. And then what about like science? Oh, we can find a lot of science around us, like from rocks, from trees, from everything that we can
garden.
From the garden, and it can be found around our home. So it doesn't have to be like in schools. That learning can also be done, you know, at home around our villages as well. So it's kind of like opening children's mind that learning is everyday lives. It's not stopped when you don't have internet or you don't have gadgets to do distance learning, but you can still continue learning from that. So that modules really become like a guideline for both the parents and also the children to conduct learning at home based on what they have at their house. And it's also based on storytelling. So there are two characters, Kelana and Maruna, who travels across Indonesia. And once they stop at certain city or village, and then they stop there and then they learn something about it based on the culture and also the nature there.
I see. How long is the curriculum? I'm curious.
What do you mean by how long? Like,
I mean, like you make a models from everyday lives to be lessons every day, right? Like, is it a week or a month or even?
So one module can last about 3 months.
So that's pretty sustainable.
That's pretty sustainable. And if you extend it a bit further, because some of them are not only just 1 day, but if you can also do it in a week, for example, then you can still extend the modules and modify it based on the situations that you have around you.
I see. Okay, Ara. Yeah, it's really interesting. And we're still gonna continue our interview. But first, we're gonna have a break. So don't go anywhere. We're still gonna talk with our guest, Aras Kusuma, after this.